Hello, everyone. Welcome to the online information session for the University of Washington Communication Leadership Graduate Program. We're so excited to have you here, and we'd love to tell you more about our program. I am Liao Zhao, the head of outreach, and today we are also having our program director, Ekin Yasin, and student ambassador joining us. I will let them introduce themselves first. Ekin, would you like to go first?
Sure. Glad to see all of you here, and thank you for taking the time to know more about our program. We really appreciate it, and I look forward to meeting many of you during this session today. I'm Ekin Yasin. I'm the director of the program. I also teach some classes, so when you become a student in the program, you'll engage with me both as the director and as a faculty in the program as well. In just a little bit, I'll tell you more about the program, and I'm glad to see everyone here.
Thank you, Ekin. Marina, would you like to go next?
Yeah, hi everyone. My name is Marina. I'm a current student in the program. I'm in my second year right now, and I'm on the MCCM track. I also work for ComLead as the event and outreach coordinator, and I definitely recognize some of your names from my email inbox. So nice to see all of you here today.
Thank you, Marina. Valeska?
Hi everyone, my name is Valeska. Currently in my second quarter in the program, in the MCDM track. I just started in the fall. So yeah, so far it's been quite a journey, and I'm really excited to be here with you to share my experience.
Thank you, thank you. So I want to let you know that for today's session, we'll start by giving you a brief overview of our program and curriculum, as well as the community and the career support that we provide. And then the second part is your turn, and we'll answer the questions that you have. So feel free to type your questions in the chat box, or you can unmute yourself to ask questions directly if you like. So the session will be recorded and it will be uploaded to ComLead YouTube channel later, so you can watch it again. Now let me hand it over to Ekin and to talk about our program and the curriculum.
Thank you so much, Liao. And again, I want to welcome you all to this session. And as you will have questions, and we're going to dedicate a lot of time to answer your questions, I just want to give you a very quick overview. Many of you may have already researched the program and know the basics, but for those of you who are just familiarizing themselves with the program, I just want to give you a few minutes overview. Of course, it will not be everything we do, but I'm happy to answer all of your questions during the Q&A as well. So just a quick history, our program has been around now for over 2 decades. So for over 20 years, so we've been navigating changes and exciting topics around communication and leadership for that period. And when the program first started, it started as a program that introduced the students to the shifts in social media, digital media, and exciting developments in a variety of technological and cultural shifts in organizations, as well as understanding emerging trends and how storytelling was becoming a core practice across organizations all around the world. Over time, we've grown our curriculum, and I'll talk a little bit about that in just 1 minute. In the beginning, we only had 1 track. Now we have 3 tracks. And since then, we've been exploring the future practices that await all of us across sectors. So currently, as I mentioned, we have 3 tracks at this moment. When the program first started, it started as a master's of communication in digital media, as I mentioned, to kind of explore those shifts in practice that was relevant for a lot of organizations. And this degree is still very strong and explores a variety of topics that are applicable. We launched a new track about 8 years ago, and that track is a Mastery of Communication in Communities and Networks. And this track is, again, an evolution of our program because our curriculum responds to all sorts of needs of organizations. And this new track, relatively new now, it's 8 years old, explores topics around community management networks, and really responded to also emerging roles across organizations around the globe. Our newest track is Master of Communication in Communication Leadership. And this new track is it's a little bit longer. It's more credits. It's 60 credits. Our other two original degrees are 45. And we designed this new track in response to our students' needs and their comments to us of wanting to have a more curated degree. So this new track has a writing requirement as well as an internship requirement and a capstone project as a part of the experience. And I'm happy to answer all of your questions about any of these degree tracks and also the experience of the program. Very quickly, in terms of our curriculum, when we ask our current students and our alumni what makes our program kind of different and unique and valuable for them, we hear often from them that one of the values of our program is how responsive it is. And we're constantly updating our curriculum in relation to what's going on in our world. So just to give you a sense, for example, I'm currently working to add more and more classes around communication around health, communication content strategy, even UX around health, because that's a very much emerging field. And Liao will tell you also about an upcoming public event where we're going to explore that topic. Also, we are very much a values-driven program. We're not just trying to create a transactional experience where you just learn skills. We want you to be change makers in whatever industry you go, push to industries towards a future that you want to see. So our program is not just about teaching you certain key topics, but it's also about creating conversation around our very diverse and global community around what we value and how we want to understand and approach the world. We have now, just to give you a very quick overview, we have a very wide curriculum, as I mentioned, and we offer classes that relate to communication and leadership fields across 8 specialization areas. So students not only have tracks, but can indicate different classes that they've taken by also having core specializations in the program. Students usually have 1 or 2 specializations that relate to their degree track. These specializations are content strategy and user experience, marketing and analytics, organizational and professional communication, community and leadership, storytelling, ethics and law, emerging technologies and trends, and communication and culture. These specialization areas can give you a sense of, again, a lot of our students take classes across specialization. So many of our students will graduate knowing about a variety of different topics across different orientations and different communication and leadership preoccupations. Also, just very quickly, our classes, and also beyond the classes experiences that Liao will talk about as well, are very much applied. So in your classes, you will be working with real life organizations and you will very much learn about their problems. So your portfolio by the time you graduate will have, of course, theoretical projects driven by your passions, and as well as projects that you actually create for organizations. So upon graduation, you will have a really thoughtful portfolio reflecting a lot of a breadth of work across different types of work that you can complete. A few recent classes that I wanted to highlight that I think that are being offered this year is one is multicultural marketing by Hannah Park, which is a really thoughtful class and approach to marketing, a very popular class. This course, this quarter, we're offering for the first time a UX studio course, which is a very innovative course where students are enrolled throughout the duration of the quarter in a design challenge. That course is being taught by the former head of design of Amazon Web Services in collaboration with a manager of design at Amazon Web Services as well. So that's a fantastic applied learning opportunity. Another class that we started offering for the first time this quarter that I wanted to highlight, again, very much in response to what we're hearing from the industry, is offered by leadership coach and HR kind of expert and leader, Lakita Williams. The course is called Designing Inclusive Workplace Cultures. Again, you may not necessarily want to focus on cultures, but you will all deal with workplace cultures upon graduation. So our courses, again, prepare you across levels for things that you'll be doing, as well as things that you'll be experiencing after you graduate or at your places of work right now, because again, our diversity is not just in places that people come from, but the types of experiences as well. The final thing that I want to highlight is we have both students who may have more recently graduated from an undergraduate program, as well as students who are currently working, who either want to repivot their career or move into a leadership position. Welcome to all of you from all those perspectives who are joining us today. So it's very exciting to work with all of those perspectives and all these different types of students. With that, I want to hand it over to Liao, who will tell you a little bit about our experiences beyond the classroom that also make our programs special. But again, welcome to all of you.
Thank you so much, Aking. So I want to share that about other aspects of our professional program that students and alumni find really valuable are our flourishing community and all the opportunities that we have for skill building and making connections through our events like Crit Panel, Alumni Fellow Workshops, First Fridays, networking events. As you may know that we have more than 800 alumni and faculty, and they work across different global organizations. So for example, like for this upcoming February, we'll host our ComLead annual Crit Fair. So we'll have more than 10 organizations, recruiters from Amazon, REI, T-Mobile, We Communications, etc. And we'll be there to recruit students and engage with our recent alumni as well. And these open positions for our students are various from marketing, PR, content strategy, and user experience to program management and organizational communication. And also another event that I want to share is February 23rd, 24th, and 25th, we'll host our program's premier public events, which is called Connects events. And this year, our topic is listening and leading for health and well-being. Participants who attend the event will qualify for a UW brand badge in health and well-being communication and to add to their LinkedIn and resume. And just let you know that it's your chance. It is going to be open to public and prospective students. So you're welcome to join our event as well to taste a flavor of ComLead. So I will put the RSVP link in our chat so you can register and learn more about it. Yeah, I want to stop here and hand it over to Marina to start our Q&A part.
Yeah, thank you. Hopefully, if you're new here, you've gotten a little bit of an idea of our program now. So feel free to either unmute and ask your question directly or just drop it in the chat and we'll go in the order that we receive the questions.
And as we're waiting for questions, maybe I will ask those of you who are students a few questions first to start the conversation. I know many of you are getting ready to ask your questions in the chat. Both Waleska and Marina, I mentioned some applied learning opportunities, and I got the chance and honor to work with both of you in different classes. So I just wanted to get a sense of, could you share with us an exciting project you completed so far in one of your classes to give a sense of types of things students do in the program?
Sure, I can start. I think probably one of my favorite classes so far was Communication for Advocacy, where we worked on the Fight for 15, which obviously happened a couple of years ago. We now have a $15 minimum wage in Seattle, but for the sake of the class, we kind of pretended that we're still in the time where like workers in Seattle were fighting for that minimum wage, and we pretended that we're part of Working Washington, trying to support workers in Seattle to bring together an advocacy campaign to achieve the $15 minimum wage. And that was super exciting because not only was it like a ton of new things that I learned about organizing and advocacy work in general, but I also got to develop my own complete advocacy campaign. And like, I'm not saying if you ask me to develop an advocacy campaign tomorrow that I'd do an amazing job, but at least I'd have like a really good framework of like the different steps that need to be executed in that process. And it was really fun putting it together. I learned a lot, and it's a great portfolio piece. So I think that was a great example for me of the type of classes that make ComLead so special to me.
Thank you. Well, let's go.
Yeah, so this is just my second quarter. So, but last quarter, we had our 501 class with Eking. And at the end of the class, you get to work in a project of your choosing, which I really love, that you have the chance to like choose what you wanted your project to be about. And I chose to do a storytelling story. It's like a website that while you scroll, it tells a story. And I decided to do it about the history of immigration in Seattle. And I love that project. I am new to Seattle. I had just moved, and it was a great chance to get to know the city. I went to the places, I took pictures, photos, I talked to people. I'm an immigrant myself, so I felt connected with the story and the people. And at the end, what I did, I'm really proud of that project, and I have it on my portfolio right now. And yeah, it was a great experience.
I can't speak highly enough of Waleska's project. I actually recently saw it again, and it's fantastic. Thank you. And thank you both for sharing. I'll turn it over to Marina. Marina, we have many questions coming in the chat, so I want to make sure we get to them.
Yes, so I apologize in advance if I mispronounce any names. Feel free to correct me if I do. But the first question is coming from Safa, who says she has a BA in journalism and 20 plus years of communication experience. Is this master's program suitable to teach an old dog new tricks?
Thank you for that question. I can start, and if any of you want to also join in on this, please do. Safa, we indeed have a number of students, actually a lot of former journalists. Actually, that's one of the ways our program started at first. We do indeed, I would say about 20% of our students have 10 plus years of experience across sectors, some of whom were former journalists, some of whom are across industry working already in technology companies or other companies, nonprofits as well. And indeed, a lot of the curriculum that we offer allows those who are in practice to think about things that they're already doing from a different lens. Let it be understanding emerging technologies. Let it be understanding new tools, storytelling tools. We have video storytelling classes as well as audio storytelling classes. So we have a variety of different perspectives and new opportunities for those who already have work experience. So I'll pause there, but if anyone else wants to add anything else too.
Yeah, I think I can share. There's a link in our front page saying that about like 20% of our students have more than 10 years of working experience. Probably a lot of them have the comm backgrounds. So as you can tell that you would not be the only one to have like a lot of experience on that. Yeah, I will share it in our link as well.
Also, as someone with not a lot of work experience, I absolutely love having people in class that have more experience and that have like these real life experiences to bring to the classroom, because we all really learn and benefit from having those people around too. So the next question is coming from Amanda, who wants to know what is the ratio of full-time versus part-time students who are working full-time?
That's a great question, and it differs. So for students who are national or who have the visa status, they can actually fluctuate between part-time and full-time at any given time. So some students will start full-time and then will take a quarter with one class only. But I would say about 20 to 30% of our students, some more towards 20%, predominantly go part-time. So that means they do not complete the program in about 2 years, but they can stretch it over 4 years. There's no problem with doing so. For those, again, for international students, there are different rules, of course, around visa stipulations and for your hopefully chance to get the OPT as well. But for students who have certain statuses, national statuses or visa statuses, they can do the program part-time anytime. And again, some do it from the get-go as part-time, and many students also end up just taking one course when they're busy with work a quarter.
Okay, the next one is coming from Simran, who wants to know, when do applications for winter start?
So we only have one, I would say, like, there's no winter. I'm trying to understand your questions. And the King Kids correct me if I'm wrong, we don't have winter application. It's just, we have several rounds applications. So the priority application deadline ends on February 1st. And then we have a second round application that ends at March 31st. And all applicants are welcome to apply, no matter your domestic and international students. But we strongly encourage you to finish your application for the first round. Is that right, Iking?
Exactly. So we only have autumn start in our program, and I just shared in the chat the dates. The first deadline is coming up. That's the priority deadline, as Liao shared. And we have a popular program, just so you know. The priority deadline is what I would recommend everyone to apply for. Although, for reasons, if you're in a rush or if you recently found out about the program, you still can apply. Both international students as well as domestic students, US citizens can apply on March 31st for more limited spots, but still can. So if you need more time too, just so you know, March 31st is also an option, but the priority deadline is February 1st.
All right, then next we have Chuhan, who's curious about the partner program and is asking if we could talk about it a little bit.
For sure. I will say a few words, and I know that we have a number of questions coming up too, and I'll hand those over to our students after that. But the partner program has been established now for it's on its 7th year. And partner program, not only do we have a partner program, but we also have a student-led communication consultancy. Organizations from all around the nation, but particularly around Seattle area, come to us. So a partner program itself is not just an opportunity for you to take classes, but also to get paid for work with organizations. And again, every quarter we have about 7 to 10 different partner program opportunities for students. And they're different kinds. Some are user experience based, some are communication strategy based, some are storytelling based. And you apply for these opportunities, and they're a great way for you to kind of simulate work with an organization that needs your skills. Marina or Will, have you guys been involved with the partner program yet? If so, can you share?
Yeah, I worked for Restart Partners, which is a nonprofit that runs behavioral health campaigns in response to the ongoing pandemic. So while I was part of Restart, we ran a small business campaign where we tried to encourage people. I think that was in spring last year, when the numbers were first going down and we were starting to go out a little bit more again and like get more active again. We were trying to encourage people to go to their local businesses and support them. And on the other hand, we're giving them a platform to put the message out there that, hey, we're taking safety measures and we're open, so please come and like support us. So I worked as a visual storyteller. For me, that was the first time producing video content, which was really challenging, but it was also a really great learning experience. And it was also my first time working in the nonprofit sphere, which was really great. So I learned a lot, and it also really helped me just figure out where I want to go with my career. And it was kind of the reason I switched to MCCN, because I realized that I really like the nonprofit sector and that I want to take more classes that help me get into that more. So for me, it was really, really helpful.
Yeah, and I'm just in the process to start to work with a small business here in Seattle. This time it would be volunteer with the partner program. You can either find like volunteer opportunities or like paid opportunities. For me, because I already have a part-time job at the university and I'm an international student, I needed it to be volunteer. But it's a great opportunity to add project and real life experience to your portfolio. And yeah, I'm really excited. It's with a small business here in Seattle to help them with their social media account to create contests, engage, and all of that. So yeah, definitely great opportunity.
Okay, the next question in the chat is, I was wondering if the UX track focuses more on design or user psychology experience.
Just to make sure that we get to all of your questions, I just shared with you the link to our courses this quarter, which is a great sample because we have some courses. Again, we have a user research course, as well as, again, as I mentioned, a UX design studio, as well as introduction to user-centered design. Next quarter, we're going to offer a user psychology course as well. So we offer both perspectives, as well as thinking about inclusion and access to UX, as well as content marketing. We have a very wide array of courses that explores user experience topics.
Okay. Next, we have a question about the difference between MCDM and MCCN, coming from Simran.
And I think one of you is MCDM and one of you is MCCN. So could you tell us why you picked what you picked?
I think I already shared before that I actually started out as an MCDM student. I honestly couldn't say that I put too much thought into it. It was just a little more obvious to me what I would be doing with that degree once I graduate. So that's what I applied for. But once I joined the program, I've figured out pretty quickly that I'm actually more drawn to the MCCN classes. And then when I started working with the partner program, and it kind of just confirmed that hunch that I would like to work in the mission-driven world. I finally switched to that track and have been taking these classes since. I mean, obviously, if you're interested in mission-driven and nonprofit work, I feel like MCCN is a slightly more obvious choice for you. But that being said, you will learn those valuable skills on the MCDM track too, and you can very well work in that sphere if you're on the other track. It's not mutually exclusive.
Yeah, I mean, when I started to review the program and I had to choose like, okay, what do I want? One thing I did was to check the courses on the website, because they specify which are like MCDM and which are MCCN. And based on the course description, you can see which one you feel more attracted to. And for me, it was definitely MCDM, because I love everything related to digital media, creating content, and all of that. So yeah, for me, it was MCDM. But as Marina said, we still take classes that are more community and values focused. So it's not like you don't get to see those kind of classes. So yeah, I do feel like the MCDM track, it's more focused on the technical aspects a little bit more, but it doesn't mean that you don't get to experience the other part. And there are classes that are track neutral, which are also really interesting to take.
Oh, and you can also take up to 10 credits from the other track if you have classes that you absolutely want to take that aren't part of your track. Okay, next question is from Amanda. With the ongoing pandemic, are most outside of the classroom experiences, such as networking events, fully virtual? Are all classes hybrid, or are more classes online?
Maybe I can talk about our networking events, and Kim could talk about our classes. So it's a mix, it's hybrid. So last fall, we're trying to make a balance between online events and also in-person events. So for example, when we host First Friday network events with a specific organization, we'll start with an online event to interview panelists and alumni from that particular organization. And then after that, we'll host like an in-person outdoor event because we want to make sure that everyone is safe as well. So we find a bar outside and that students could talk with each other, meet with each other, and also invite alumni fellows to join us to network with our students. So you still get some chance to get some great networking, but also we want to make sure that you're safe. And also for this upcoming winter quarter, when we host our Connects, we do something similar, like the first 2 days will be held online, and then the third day will be held at Seattle Town Hall. So you will get a chance to meet with our students, alumni as well. And class, I think we're doing something similar, right, Iki?
Yes, so we are, of course, following the public health guidelines to make sure that our hopes are to connect, and we are an in-person program, as you all know. But moving forward, we're building more opportunities that will respond to the moment. So we're building more hybrid and also distance learning opportunities. So for students who are, again, at any given quarter, juggling different responsibilities, moving forward, about 20% of our classes or a little bit less will be offered online as well. The students will always have a few classes that will be remote, but our program, just so you know, pending, of course, pandemic restrictions and public health restrictions, is a predominantly in-person program. Having said that, last quarter, Valeska, you were part of the experience too. We ran our core class, which is a class you would be taking at your first quarter, as a truly hybrid course. So we had a classroom space where people could get together. I was nearby and recording, or rather live streaming the session, and I joined the class and those in the classroom towards the end. So we had contact too. Again, we're trying to innovate in this challenging moment, but our intentions are to connect with all of you to the best of our abilities. Very quickly, maybe, Valeska, you started the program in this moment. If you could share what it was like to take classes last quarter.
Yeah, of course. So as Ekin said, most of the classes were hybrid. We had like either the Zoom or the classroom choices. For me, I went to the classroom just because I really wanted to get to know people and talk to people. And it was a really interesting experience because we were in the classroom and then we had like the big screen with people on Zoom, and you can see the people on Zoom, and it was a really, really great experience. And right now, for now, my classes are all being on Zoom, but it doesn't mean that we don't get to share and get to talk with each other, even through Zoom, or now that we know each other, we sometimes go out and we get together. So I feel like you still feel that community and that connection when it's just through Zoom.
Okay, next question is from Chuhan. Is there any restriction on choosing the classes in MCCL?
I will share the different requirements, but there are no restrictions. In fact, MCCL, our newest degree, is a combination of different experiences that we already have in digital media and communities and networks. So there are no restrictions around that. You have just a few more, you have more credits and a few more requirements. So that means that you still have the same flexibility of taking electives as the others degrees do. You just have a bit more of a structured experience. By that, what we mean is, again, I just mentioned you have a professional writing requirement, and we offer every quarter at least 1 or 2 writing courses that can apply towards that requirement in this new degree, as well as an internship requirement. In the other 2 degrees, you can still take credits for your internship class, or you can take a class that accompanies your internship experience, but you do not have to. In the MCCL, you have to, but we help you, of course, with that process as well. And as I mentioned in the beginning, the other final portion of it is you conclude the program with the capstone project. Still, MCDM and MCCN students can do specialized projects at the end of their experience. It's just not required. Again, this longer option has a more of a kind of a built and structured journey for those of you who want to have those requirements be part of it. And I'm just actually sharing in the chat the degree requirements of each of our degrees and sample schedules to give you a better sense. I hope this was helpful.
Perfect. Next, we have Amy, who's saying, I just graduated from the undergraduate university with mostly academic projects and a strong interest in learning MCDM to create content. What will you suggest if I want to stand out in the applications?
I'm reading the applications, but Marina and Waleska has successfully completed applications. So maybe we can start with you both. To get a sense of like how you approach your application process, which is, I think, helpful to all those in this meeting today.
Well, the first thing that came to mind for me is that probably they're not gonna find me enthusiastic enough, because like just knowing Americans and how they're like just culturally a lot more enthusiastic than Germans. I'm from Germany. I was kind of worried that I would just like sound really grumpy and very serious. So I kind of just tried to make sure that while still being like really authentic, I would like my excitement over having found this program would shine through, and that I'm really clearly lining out like why I want to do this specific program opposed to like all the other grad school programs out there. And yeah, honestly, just like tell your story and make sure you utilize those 3 different opportunities you have to present yourself, to tell a consistent story, but also tell like different aspects of your story instead of like reiterating the same thing 3 times. So I guess that's the only advice I can give, because looking back, I'm like, oh, that got me into the program. Interesting. But yeah.
Yeah, so for me, it was an interesting process because my bachelor's is in architecture. So I felt like, I need to explain why, like why the student changed. And but I feel that when you have a passion or when you're sure what you want, it comes naturally. On my essay, I just wrote basically like why I'm attracted to this program, why I decided to do this. And then, as Marina said, with my video, I just completed the story. It was like in chronological order. So yeah, I would say be yourself, which I know sounds cliche, but it's right, like be honest, be yourself, tell your story. Why do you want to be here? And yeah, as Marina said, use all of your options to tell your story, something different, something unique about yourself.
Yes, I would just add to that, actually, just as both Valeska and Marina said, I think we're using these materials to get a sense of you and your journey and what you want to do and your intentions as well. So as you're preparing your applications, one advice that I would give, and I give this to anyone who reaches out to me, is make sure to utilize different aspects of the application process wisely. So do not repeat what you have on your statement in your video. Because we want to get as much information about you as possible. So we're looking at these very carefully to get as holistic of a picture. And I recall both Waleska and Marina's applications as well, right? So kind of telling us why and giving us a sense and giving us different aspects of who you are and why you're coming to our program and how your previous experiences may relate or what you want to get out of it. Using those to give a broad picture is really, really important so that we can get a really clear sense of who you are and how you connect with our community. That would be my advice.
Okay, that was actually the last question currently in the chat. So if you have any more burning questions, now is your chance.
As we're waiting to, I'm going to share in the chat the upcoming events calendar on our website, which has upcoming events, as well as the different dates for the Connects events. I just want to encourage all of you to join us at that public event as well as you're applying, waiting to hear. This is a fantastic chance for you to get to know us, get to learn with us in a very emerging topic. But then again, you'll also get an online badge that you can share on your profiles. It's a professional development opportunity as well. So please don't miss out on that. And I'll also share in the link the recording of the last year's event in just 1 minute. As we wait for a few more minutes to get maybe final questions, I just want to take again a moment to thank all of you and just want to encourage you all to reach out to all of us with questions in the upcoming days. We know that some of you are, and I've seen in chat, I got a couple messages directly that some of you are completing your applications. Feel free to ask now also application related questions as you've done, but also don't worry if you don't ask it now. You can always send all of us messages and emails just to get your questions answered, not just about the broader program, but also about the process. I just wanted to clarify that as well.
Okay, sounds like we answered everyone's question and you're ready to get your application starts. Yeah, and finish. Okay. And as Akin said, like whenever you have more questions and just email us, you're welcome to email us at comlead@edu. Yeah. Your .edu or yeah, reach out to Akin directly. We'll stay here for a few more minutes. So if you want to talk to us in a smaller group, we're happy to help you. And otherwise, we'll say good luck with your application, and we're looking forward to see you in Seattle this fall.
Yes, we're thrilled to expand our community with, again, very thoughtful potential new members. Thank you for, again, your consideration and making space and time to find out about the program. I really appreciate it. As Liao said, I'll stick around for a bit too if you want to speak to us or ask questions directly.
I'm seeing one more question that was sent to me directly. For those applicants who already have a master's degree, do you see this as a disadvantage in application? How do I convince the committee?
I would say more than 30% of our actually students too have a former master's degree. In some, for example, in different places, there are, people will do a one-year master's program and want to explore, or as we saw in Waleska's case, there are some students who already have a master's degree in another concentration or a degree, and they want to find out about these topics. It's very common and not a disadvantage at all. It's a very common experience.
Okay, I'm gonna stop recording.
And I just got one more question from Hans directly about deferring. And I just want to assure that you can always defer. Actually, you will have a deadline, of course, after accepting your offer. But we have a number of students who deferred for a year. Particularly during the pandemic, there were a large number of students, and you will still have a chance to reconsider for the following year's cycle. This is a one-time opportunity without having to apply again.